Yes, family. Yes, yes. I like it too. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Reserve Menin. Yes, family. One perfect balance. Yes, family. All I can say is welcome, man. Welcome to a super special edition of Politically Incorrect. For those coming in now, let me just put this on vibrate so I don't get too much. You see, already. See what I'm saying? It already started, man. So I don't get too many disturbances. Let me just put this on pause here for a second. Bam. All right. Yeah, family. Yes, greetings, like I said, and welcome again, Politically Incorrect. Where we get it correct, and if we're not correct, just inbox us and correct us. I got some special guests coming in tonight, so I want you to go tell a friend and tell a friend. In conversation with mothers, man, mothers losing sons. Then there's an event coming up, I believe it's this Saturday, and there's some sisters joining us tonight to talk about it in more detail. I think what is so profound about it is the timing. The timing is what's key here. And as always, nothing before divine, nothing happens before its time, because it's, after all, divine time, always divine time. So this is no different. So I'm just trying to cue up the side screen right here. There you go. Yeah, so we want to welcome our family coming in. Andrea, I see you. Maria, give thanks. Sharon, Alex, peace more. Peace more. Let me see. Here we are. Yeah, that's what's up. We here. We cooking. Natasha, listen, go tell a friend to tell a friend. We're having a conversation with mothers. We have a few guests coming in, and they're going to rally out tonight. And we're going to have some conversations that might be a little uncomfortable in some cases. But there's an event coming up on Saturday, like I said, and I want us to be a part of that in one way or another. So, like I said, the sisters are coming in here tonight to share that information with us and discuss it. So, for those joining us now for the first time, those out there in TV land, you know it is. You know how we do here. We're going to drop a tune and go from there. Now, y'all already know we're having some challenges with the people reporting the page and this kind of stuff. You would never think that, this thing happens. But, yeah, and although there are other platforms and we are working on those, the reality is a lot more people on here and we got to get it going. And so we thank all those for giving their advice and contributions. We much appreciated. Y'all know who y'all are. And don't think that we're not paying attention. We definitely are paying attention. Everything is timing, though. Let's keep that in mind. And so, having said that, let me go drop a tune. In the meantime, I got some people I want to share this with tonight. And I'm going to encourage you to do the same. Go tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Politically Incorrect, up and running. Let me see where we at. Okay, got you. All right, let me go now. Let me just click this video real quick. I had this one for this sister right here. This is a new joint by Queen Omega and Kushite and Jalifa. It's called Wise Queens. I think it's fitting for the night. I think it's very timely as well. So I'll go ahead and drop that real quick while you go tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll be up and running. Yes, YouTube is still down, family. Unfortunately, YouTube is still down, but hey, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. We already know. So let me go ahead and share this screen right quick. Jalifa, there you go. Full screen that. Yes, family. Like I said, we got some special guests tonight. We got Mama Telma, we got Empress Aziza, and we got Zion's daughter coming in the house, man. Tell a friend and tell a friend, family. Queens be wise, man. Go tell a friend and tell a friend, family. This is a message for the family.
You know the future is bright. No surrender, no retreat. We are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than the border. Burn out all disease, we burn out corona. With militants, we see your children from and stronger. No in a retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than the border.
Okay. Yes.
Sweet and greener like trees in a pot. Can't have the tree and the root them come on. Can't have the children from spreading jam up when the lioness roll up. Give thanks and praises for the gathering this evening. Where two or more are gathered in His name, I tell you He is there. And I want you to have no fear. As love and unity we set by example, cause we care.
Love and unity. Babylon beware. The queen of the chessboard family.
No surrender, no retreat. We are judges.
The queen of the chessboard family. The king is vulnerable. Out of war, out of war.
No retreat. We are judges.
Yes, playing it in double tune, man.
Burn out all disease, we burn out corona.
Burn out corona.
Three empresses so divine and distinguished.
Yes.
If you know royal in your heart, you can't sing this. Love upon the wicked government, then cannot win this. Satana, that is how you know English. Truths and rights, and you live and not speak this.
Serious.
Blesses all them not a racist. Fire on them misses, like fire put me taste this. And this your fire, normal, confusing fire.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, family.
Them can't overs how they love you not partial. And when we come together, yes, it's always goodbye.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Jackie, I see you. Jackie said pull out tune. Jackie, you for real though. This is a big tune. You know what? Hold on, man. I can pull it for a minute. Just a minute, Jackie. I'm going to put the link in the comments right here. Brand new tune released from the sisters right here, putting in their work. You don't know who it is, man. Khalifa, Queen Omega.
Never do wrong, only right.
Post in the chat. Yeah. Kushite. Check the comments, man. That's the link right there. Yes, for those who was watching on YouTube, y'all know the YouTube was shut off. It's unfortunate, but it's still fortunate. Inspire us to go to higher heights. Rumble coming to you very soon.
No surrender, no retreat. We are judges.
No surrender, no retreat.
Tougher than the streets, tougher than the border. Burn out all disease.
Just for Jackie, Art in Motion, I see you. Blessed night to you too, Sonia. Jack Lynn, I see you. Yeah, Maria, just for you, Maria. The link right there, man. Sisters taking over.
Sweet and greener like trees in a pot. Can't have the tree and the root them come on. Can't have the children from spreading jam up when the lioness roll up. Give thanks and praises for the God.
Give thanks and praises.
Where two or more are gathered in His name, I tell you He is there. And I want you to have no fear. As love and unity we set by example, cause we care. Babylon beware.
Big tune, family. The link right there, man. Check it out. Queen Omega, Kushite, and Jalifa. It's called Wise Queens.
No surrender, no retreat. We are judges.
No surrender, no retreat.
Tougher than the streets, tougher than the border. Burn out all disease, we burn out corona. With militancy,
Yes.
No retreat, we are judges. Tougher than the streets, tougher than the border.
Tougher than a boulder, family. Tougher than a boulder. That's a big tune, family. I got to pause it there for now, although I don't really want to. But that tune there, so it ready, family. You know, we be busting these new tunes, man. That's brand new off the press. I think they dropped that yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or like Monday. But yeah, be nice to get them on here one of these days. They're gonna link up the sister, man. Let them come through and just do what they do best, man. Inspire, motivate, uplift the nation, man. Straight thing, you know what I mean? But tonight we have special guests, like I said earlier. There's an event coming up, and it's timely. Like I said, mothers losing son. It's a conversation, and it's kind of one of those uncomfortable conversations. Shout out to Nicole in Texas, by the way. It's one of those uncomfortable conversations where we have to have it, and we got to at some point start the healing of the nation. And until we have that dialogue and start being open and honest enough to be sensitive enough to respect each other's position and feelings, then hurt gonna continue to hurt, and then the children watching it, and then they repeat that cycle. So we have special guests coming through tonight. We got Empress Aziza joining us. We have the elder Thelma as well, and we also have Zion's daughter. So yeah, though, is that time. Is that time. Having said that, I don't think we're gonna waste any more time. We're just gonna jump right into this whole thing. I think we're gonna bring the sister in on Aziza, and then she could introduce the others. So we're gonna start off with that one famous individual, and we're gonna allow her to basically do what she does best. So if you're now joining us, y'all already know, tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the kind of conversation you're going to want to have. You do not want to miss this. So let me just go ahead and bring our special guest in a matter of 7 seconds.
Greetings.
Greetings, blessed love. This is crazy, right? I got to say welcome, and a big welcome, and a big welcome to Politically Incorrect. This is long overdue.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
The honor to have you here tonight. Go ahead and tell us who you are, where you coming from, man. Introduce yourself.
Well, greetings, everyone. Thank you for bringing me on, Emmanuel, and subsequently Mother Thelma and Zion's daughter. I am Empress Aziza, also known as Aziza Sacred Wellspring. I am I returned home last year after setting up my business in the U.S. and working with women across the world through Sacred Sister Soul. And every Sunday we would meet and have these hard discussions, from spirituality to husbands to fiancés, you name it, we would discuss it, all from a spiritual perspective. So when I returned home to the island, establishing my business here, I decided to get Sacred Sister Soul going here. And I would offer spiritual realigning classes for people who are, as we say, awakening to their truths and really not sure how to go about navigating this new information that's coming in, this new energy. And out of that, the Divine Mother said this year, bring my daughters together, because we know this year is a 6th year, which is the year of the mother. This is we're in the age of Aquarius, which is to know. And we're also in the time of Uranus, which is the revealing of truth. So when Mother said bring her daughters together, I put that information out there.
Yes.
And some women responded. I didn't know how many women were going to respond. I just put the information out there. And I know for some people here, this is a new thing, talking about spirituality, because people think spirituality is religion, right? So I did what the Mother said, and the women showed up on August 13th. And out of that, we had 2 beautiful speakers. Mama Thelma spoke about the womb and how everything is created in the womb. And Zion's daughter spoke about sons, because the event was entitled Mothers and Sons. And out of that event, this evolved to mothers losing son in the spate of all these killings that's been happening with the youth. So that bothered me, because I'm a teacher. And that really bothered me, that we're losing our young men to such violence. And it's time we do something. Everything started with us as the mothers. So we have to step in and do something to make that change. It starts and it must end with us. So that's where we are with this event coming up on Saturday, the 17th.
Serious. Wow. That right there is one of them health Cobb sandwiches. It's just a whole lot of goodness in there. Packed into one couple sound bites, but enlightening. I like the fact you said you came and you called the sisters together, and not, the response was who was supposed to respond, because people always think that you need numbers to be impactful. And I always tell people, believe it or not,
Mhm.
when it's a few, it's concentrated, which means the
That's
power
right.
is more delegated
Yeah.
to each individual, which makes each one even more powerful as opposed to having it
Mhm.
spread all across. But having said that, you didn't come alone. You have some guests joining us tonight also. Why you go ahead and
Mhm.
introduce the two other special guests that's here for tonight?
Well, the special guest joining us is Mama Thelma. Mama
Hmm.
Thelma she's a transplant from the UK, and she has been doing a lot of work in Barbados for the last 20 years. I label her as my mentor because when I was coming along in my knowledge, I was the original event planner for the African conference held here 20 something years ago, and she kind of guided me through that, how to deal with people, because you're generally a very shy person, stay in the background, do my work,
Hmm.
but she kind of guided me, and I've always looked to her for
Hmm.
that guidance. But she has worked with the youth in Barbados, with setting up African exhibitions, going into the schools and teaching the
Wow.
youth and showing them their lineage in Africa, through Africa. So she's done a lot of work, but not many people know of her. And we have to change that.
Yes,
This
indeed.
woman, she's knowledge out of this world. You sit with her, you can't just sit with her for an hour.
Wow.
You spend days. When I go there on Wednesdays, it's like,
Wow.
okay, let me just let me
Wow.
just prepare myself, because she's gonna give me the downloads. She's gonna give me the information.
Wow. Oh, this is
As I,
exciting.
she's amazing. She's amazing. Tonight, I'm sure she will really pull everything tight for your audience.
Nice.
Leave them wanting more.
I'm already here sitting at the edge of my seat, bro. Like, yeah, like, I want to hear. I want
Prepare
to.
yourself.
I want to
And then
hear.
we have Zion's daughter, a dynamic young woman, so passionate about our youth, so passionate about the children.
Mm,
And when we've known each other for almost 30 years, and we reconnected when I returned home.
mm,
And she's also a prophetess.
mm.
I would like
Wow.
to put that on there. She's also a prophetess. When she tells you something, it is from the heart, and it is almost instant.
Mm,
And she told me one day, Abby, you're supposed to help the youth.
mm,
And I knew that, but I was kind of lazy about it, because I was like, where do I begin? I just came home. I really tried to realign myself with everything again. It's been a few years I've been gone, so I wasn't so sure.
mm,
But she lit that fire under me. And Zion's daughter, she's awakening to her truth. She's stepping into her purpose.
mm.
And I'm here to help her, guide her towards that purpose, as we
Won-
should. So,
Wonderful.
dynamic young lady. And I think your audience will be really impressed. And
Wow.
I want more from her.
Wow. Well, without saying anything else, I think it's time to just bring both of them on board. Be back in a sec.
Awesome.
All right. All right. We have Sister Thelma joining us. Greetings and welcome to Politically Incorrect. And it's an honor to have you here with us, joining us. And joining us very shortly will also be Zion's daughter once she's fully ready to roll.
Mhm.
Welcome, Mama. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me and to having me on your show. Glad to meet you. I like your voice. I like your spirit. And I believe that we're going to connect in some way
Yes.
as what we're about to do. Because as we said, we're speaking from the spiritual side of life and
Mhm.
not just from the physical side of life. Because we get our information download, what I will say, from the upper realm.
Yes.
Knowledge. It's
Yes,
about
indeed.
knowledge. So
Indeed.
some things that we tend to forget is what we hope to bring back in its forefront, so that
Mhm.
people will realize.
Mhm.
They said when something is happening in your world where you have no understanding, you have to be like a Sankofa, go back, look for
Mhm.
what the situation is, and come back again. And so, because we're dealing with mothers, we decided that we have to look to see what is a mother and how does a mother come into being. And we know that the mother cannot be a mother unless she bring forth a child. When I said not specifically from her womb, but the care too. But I'm speaking about that thing that we call the womb, which is the divine instrument that God placed in women. And that is a connection that carries us right through to life. So when something is wrong, we have to look at the womb, because the
Mm.
womb carries messages, the
Wow.
wombs carry a history, the
Wow.
wombs remember, the womb tells a lot of story. And that is why when our when the child is in the womb, the child is learning things from the mother. It picks up
Mm.
information from the mother. And that information should be carried right through, because I'm not speaking about some children that come in rough age. Even so be it. We still talk to our children, and the sorrows and so the child comes with still carries through the history of life. So
Wow.
we now look back from the spirit realm as to what can cause some of the downfalls that we're seeing inside of our young people specifically. And it takes us right back to that point where we have to look at the beginnings. The beginnings is how the mother brought forth that child, the training
Mm.
in the womb that comes out from the womb that should be continuing to carry on. So this is where we're at the moment. And we hope that when we try to bring the information to people, they would, especially women,
Mhm.
because women, the womb has been, if the woman's been so abused
Mhm.
that it tells you that it destroyed the community that they live in.
Wow.
The
Wow.
womb
Yeah.
speaks, it talks to you, it tells you. And
Wow.
So.
because the womb is such a spiritual entity, we don't
Mhm.
take no time to understand it and what it is there for. The womb it creates life as well as it brings forth life
Wow.
from dead. So
Wow.
that is where
Mhm.
we at the moment.
Wow. I listen. That's the portal you're talking about that brings us from the spiritual realm into the physical
Mhm.
realm. And although
That's
it's a conversation that we may have in passing, I think you hit a vital point when you talked about the spiritual memory
right.
of the
Yes.
past, especially when we don't recognize that the
Mhm.
woman as a self, as a vessel, is carrying all that memory
That's
from
right.
generation to generation to
Generation.
generation. And as the old saying, my granny would always say, you got to break the curse rather
Mm-hmm.
than
Mhm.
having children and perpetuating the cycle
Mm-hmm.
from one generation, or what they call the sins of the father and the mother being passed
Mhm.
on. We don't quite get it, but it's passed on in such a genetic and spiritual way that, like you said, unless we start to heal and look at the source
Yes.
of the problem, we'll basically be perpetuating the problem from one generation to another and
Mhm.
wondering why we can't seem
Mhm.
to get this right. Because there's some things we need to do as a people, and that
Mhm.
talks about obviously will be healing. And
Yes.
speaking of
Yes.
healing,
Mhm.
I think Zion daughter is ready to join us. Lance could come on in and if she's ready, yeah, and we'll mix this thing up a little better. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Politically Incorrect. Zion's
Welcome.
daughter, welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct. If not, we on the correction.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Teresa, girl.
Well, your mic isn't muted, but I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure.
Oh dear.
Let me check here on my end. Actually, no, I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, there's a setting at the bottom of the screen, mark setting. If you click on it and you open that, you'll see audio on the left hand side. You can check on that and see if there's something needs adjusting within your network. If so, but in the meantime, while you check on that, Sister
Mhm.
Aziza.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Oh, you're there now, Zion. You're there.
yes, I am.
Yes, we
Yes, I
got you
am.
there. Yeah,
Yes, I
this
am.
right here is real friendly user. You can't go wrong in this studio. It's virtual and it's good to go. Welcome again, like I said, to Politically Incorrect. Tell us about yourself a bit.
Well,
The
I'm
daughter of
Zion's
Zion.
Zion's daughter. I've That's a name that I've maintained for many years without any social media handle. It speaks to the character of who I am. I've always been a strong believer in Mount Zion, in the Most High, in Yahweh. My upbringing has been quite diverse as well, and that kind of reinforced my belief in the spiritual element of the Most High. Um, Being that my father is the genesis of my spirituality, being like you, one with the Rastafarian faith and being raised in Christianity. So, being raised multi religiously, it kind of opened up my eyes to many facets of the way we live. Um,
Mhm.
And when I connected with Empress Aziza and Mama Thelma, they opened up my desire to bring what I truly live
Mhm.
and bring it forth to the nation as a message.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
I like that as a member. Someone said earlier that you have the gift of foresight and to foresee. It's to be for and to
Virtual
foresee
ladies.
is to be forewarned. You know, I won't even touch on that too much. I'll let you get into that a little later on. But
Thank
um,
you.
I want to touch on this event real quick. I'll pull the poster up
Sure.
and I'll share it to the screen. I've never had that. As a matter of fact, this is the first for Politically Incorrect. We've never had four guests on at the same time. So this is, we're doing history. We're breaking history here tonight for sure. Not just four, but
Mhm.
four powerful sistren. And as always, the king is on his throne. And
Amen.
so I feel honored.
That's
I
right.
love it.
I
I
feel,
love it.
I feel honored. I mean, what else could I feel right now? Tell us about mothers losing sons. Tell us about this.
Okay, Mothers Losing Sons is a conversation that the three of us have had as women. Empress Aziza is a teacher, and she's a teacher of the young ones. Mama Thelma being a woman who has worked within the system on the other end that we do not necessarily see on a day to day basis
Mhm.
with the juvenile liaison, and I am a mother. Obviously, the discussion started around the violence that we're seeing, which has not genesis this year. We have had that violence come to our doorsteps many a time over. But then, as we started to look at the statistics and we started to look at the other conversations on social media and personal conversations, many people, whether mothers or fathers, male or female, are
Mhm.
concerned that there is a high proportion of our sons being
Yeah.
lost.
True. True.
And when we look then at obvious gun violence, we started to look at the other ways we're losing our sons. Suicide.
Mhm.
Suicide is a heart wrenching, it tears at the soul
Serious.
of why our males, our sons, would choose that route. And one of the most recent stories really took heart to me,
Mhm.
with the young gentleman and the family said, I was here. If he wanted someone to talk to, he could have come to me.
Wow.
Mhm.
Then I remember the UFC champion. He was saying, this he's throwing out this fight for his friend Rick, who he was woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be told that his friend had taken his life, and he shouted to the crowd,
Wow.
"Men, if you have someone, you don't have someone to talk to, please find someone. Please talk about your issues."
That's
So
right.
as three women who are in different spectrums,
Mhm.
we recognize that there are so many ways that women do talk, but there's so many other ways that society does not listen to men.
Mhm.
True.
And
Mhm.
you cannot have that imbalance in your society and still expect a level of prosperity emotionally,
Mhm.
Interesting.
spiritually, metaphysically,
Mhm.
and
Nadia, I
having
have the meeting. I
and
sent all the
having
information to tell you all what to go on to tell.
Mhm.
right, and have that metaphysical embodiment of peace within the society
Mhm.
when there is an imbalance.
Well, I think part of that problem is, and I totally agree with you. I think part of that problem too is that society, when you're growing up, is like you'll see young ladies, they be crying, and then you see a young man, he's
Mhm.
crying, is like, boys don't cry, or you're not
Hmm.
allowed to express yourself in
Mhm.
ways because society kind of look at it as if you're weak, and if you're a
Yeah.
man that expresses yourself, they view as, well, you're no real man because men don't do that. And although there's a lot of things that
Mhm.
men shouldn't do, and that's from the perspective of being effeminized. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that men should do, and especially expressing one's emotions is one of the things that men should also do. Mama,
Mhm.
tell me
Yes,
what are
sir.
your thoughts on in terms of men and how they're raised in terms of seeing men and telling young men, your men don't cry, or yet young
Hmm.
ladies could cry, and then men get older, and in most
Hmm.
relationships, don't feel comfortable enough to
That's
open up to share with your partner.
I agree with that, but we always say is that men has so we try to encourage men to use the feminine side of themselves to be able to do the expression, but because men forget that they're part of female, just like women are part of male, and to use those type of energy so that they can, you know, become a person and not just become a body feeling that they have the power to do the things that they find themselves challenging.
Wait. Hold on a second. You got to go back there a second. You said men have to be. Let's get this clear now. Hold on a minute. This is a thin line. Listen, hold on. This conversation can take a left turn really easy. You told men being in touch with their feminine side. I think you need to clarify what that means, because it doesn't mean that you're supposed to act like you have two X's. You're supposed to balance the X with the Y, not act like you actually have two X's. So when you say men to be in touch with a feminine side,
Mhm.
explain what you mean exactly, so that some people are not confused by that.
Well, it what I meant is each and every one of us have a soft spot or a hard spot in our makeup.
Right,
So
right.
when we feel that we had these emotions that make us feel we want to cry or we want to, I think it's not only women that cry. Every man and woman and child was built with tear ducts, and they're supposed to let it go because tears is a language that the Creator understands. So if a man feels that he rather to bottle up that side of him that makes him feel that is what I call his feminine side, because he have a soft spot as well as a female have a hard spot inside of them. So that soft spot give them emotions that make them feel, well, I'm, and break down. So I don't understand why a man feel that their ducts must not be shed. That one of the things that God gave a woman tears. And when it started to drop, they ask the question, what is that for? Man has the same thing. It's to make them feel that feminine part is to make them show that they are human beings with the same feminine feelings as any person else. But men tend to think that they don't have emotions, but they do.
Hmm,
They
hmm.
do have emotions,
Yes,
and
they do.
emotions that helps them to really understand why am I feeling this way. And that's the problem why some men go through ailments and they don't talk about it until it gets out of hand. While a woman would talk about her conditions or situations and so forth, men bottles up. So we're encouraging men with go into that soft spot that makes them feel human.
Correct.
We don't want them to live in the soft spot, though.
Yeah,
We want them
yeah,
to visit the
yeah,
soft spot. Even
yeah.
Jesus wept. Jesus wept too
Right.
now.
Indeed.
And if I may add, it's a societal perception as to what is masculinity. If you were, depending on the society that you live in,
Hmm,
masculinity is envisioned, accepted, embodied in different ways. Now,
Mhm.
we are of African descent. And if you look culturally and historically at how some societies within Africa um, embodied masculinity, we still see a touch of the feminine in it,
hmm,
and how there is the acknowledgement of their emotions, the acknowledgement of their own beauty.
Mhm.
In certain cultures, there is a marriage rite, a marriage ceremony where the men are beautified and chosen by a woman to be the husband. There are
Mhm.
certain societies where the man takes on a certain roles, and within certain African cultures, the woman has the choice. So masculinity within our world that we have grown up separated from the ancestral home has embodied this vision of masculinity that has separated the man from that soft spot. I'll give you a story. My son, who is he's not even 10 years old, was crying in public, and I comforted him. And a man walked up and said, "How are you raising that boy? He's crying." And I had to put him in his place. He's a child first and
Right,
foremost.
right, right.
So how can you say to a child who is not aware of who he is or she is, but they know that they are that age? How can you say, how am I raising my child, my son, because he's crying? Therein is the genesis of one of the many reasons why we have so many men not touching their emotions and bringing forth those emotions to bring healing to the nation.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Well, I totally agree with you. And what I'll add to that is that I'll find I see Mama Terry going to take care of some business. I'll bring him back in a second. What I find too is that as a man, again, this idea of masculinity, if you think about it, all men came from a woman, first of
Yes,
all. So
yes.
when we talk about masculinity, is masculinity something that's developed by women or through women? Because if all men come from a woman, where does masculinity comes from? If it's
Hmm.
exclusive to men, then where do men get that? Is it something that women or mothers create? Because if the young men are not capable of expressing themselves emotionally, this takes us to the block culture or the street culture where you see things happening. If there's an argument or some confrontation of some sort, and there's no avenue to express one's emotion in a meaningful way to get clarity or resolution,
Hmm.
the first step the male is going to turn to, or anybody for that matter, is violence,
Mhm.
especially if you always witness violence being the
Hmm.
tool or the instrument to resolve matters. So where
Hmm.
does masculinity come from?
A lioness
Ah, she's a
raises
lioness. Okay,
a
okay.
lioness raises both a lion and a lioness, and
Mm,
she teaches both the lioness and the lion how to be what they were born to be. So the first
facts.
thing that we must raise our children to be
Mm,
is who they are: human,
agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
human, human. Then the roles develop, but we are human beings and we have attached certain roles to genders,
Mhm.
and therefore we've also divorced emotions from those gender roles. If we say to a young man, come in the kitchen, learn to take care of the home, come with me when I'm shopping,
Mhm.
you're teaching your son responsibility, awareness, consciousness of environment, and you're also letting him know that he has a pivotal role to play in his future self. But when you separate and say a male has this
Mhm.
path to take,
Mhm.
and that path is one of happy go lucky, sit down and wait to be served, never participate, you are raising that male to be invalid to himself
That's
when
right.
he becomes of age. And therefore, he is not then capable of
Mhm.
contributing and being responsible. This is not an absolute, but it is a proven sector. And it's proven over
Mhm.
time. I will
No,
hear what Mama Thelma and the others have to
I,
I
say.
was
I,
going to
I
say,
want to say something. Can I say
sure, sure,
something?
sure, sure. Go
If
ahead,
Of
you
dear.
look at if you look at the word masculinity, is
Mhm,
the beginning of the word alone is tell you it's masked by
mhm,
something else. In Africa, men were taken, young boys were taken into the jungle at the age of 13 by their mother. The man
mhm,
didn't have any involvement on up until that child was ready to become a man. He
mhm,
was
mhm,
raised by the mother, teaching him all of the things that was necessary for him to touch base with his, if you want to call it, feminine side.
Mhm.
Know that emotion, right? It's energy emotion. So he had to know that emotion. But then she would take him into the jungle and would lose him. And the father then would take over from there.
Rites of
If we
passage.
mhm.
rites of passage,
Yes.
we have gone when we were disconnected from source, when we were disconnected and replaced with a false matrix way of thinking. That is where the problem came in. We forgot what it was to connect. We forgot what it was to be a community and raise our children. So
Yes.
everything was masked.
Mm.
That's where we get that masculinity coming in to add to what Teresa, Zion's daughter was saying. That's where that masculinity comes in. Our boys have been dumbed down to some degree, and
Yes.
we put so much expectation on them before first giving them that love and attention. Love, a hug goes a long way, giving them that love and attention that they need and listening to them. So those boys eventually become men. Those men
Yes.
become husbands and families. We
Mm.
forget that they don't stay small the whole time. They
True.
grow up and they
Mhm.
take all of that with them
Yes.
as they become men. And then they look for what the only thing they know, they look for what was their image. Someone sent me a video of a man beating a woman the other day, and she herself wasn't in her right mind. But seeing him do that, that ignited something within me because he wants the best for her, but he himself is damaged and she is damaged. And you
Mm.
got two damaged people raising children that are going to become eventually damaged, right?
Wow. Wow. Facts.
Can
Facts.
I mean, I guess when I said about feminine, I guess we go right to this homosexuality thing. That's not what I
Oh
meant.
man, no, I see that. Hold on, mama. Hold on, mama. Hold on, mama. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, mama. Hold on, mama. Give me a minute here, mama.
Not so fast, Mama.
Hold on, mama. Let me just say this really quick. Let me just say this really quick. And I'm gonna just sit back on that. Let the elder do the talking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are clear on what man. As a matter of fact, let me go a little deeper. Man as a species include both male and female. We understand that. We as divine beings recognize that we do have specific roles on this plane. Now, there's some of us who may be a bit uncertain, and that's fine. We understand the connection mentally with that because this is a mind thing. If you tell yourself you're something other than who you are genetically, well, that's your mental position.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other names for that. I won't touch that at this time, but I'll have you free. You can have the mic in a second. But what I want to say is that when they go back to the men and crying, when men act out violently, and like you said, the video with the young man abusing the sister and the gun violence and not being able to resolve conflict resolution to this kind of stuff. What we have to be honest about is that's actually men expressing their feelings.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's the lower vibration and not the higher vibration.
Highest vibration.
You know, it's not the highest consciousness. It's actually a lower carnal consciousness. That physical abuse, that violence, in that way. So when we tell men that men don't show their feelings or express their feelings, that's a lie. And it's a lie that we have been told and been telling for a very long time. And I'm glad y'all brought that to the surface because most people might know I did time in prison. And I want to shout out my brother on here. I won't call his name. I just realized he was on live. This is a brother I met overseas in prison. It's good to see him on the live. This is probably the first time, I think. I'm not sure. At least he's commented. But I said it to say that when I came home from doing 9 years out of 33, and I'm walking in Barbados, sometimes I'd be driving in the car on my own and going around, and I get a thought to myself, and I'll think to myself, and some reason sometimes I'll feel like I want to cry. I'll think to myself, like, yo, what the hell? Like, yo, like, where that coming from? But I had to realize I had to reach a point within my own self as a man in my 30s, realizing I've been through so much. And the trauma that came with that, despite me being militant and was always militant, because my father didn't raise me. I didn't have that father figure. My mother raised me. But I always had certain male figures around me to look to. And she encouraged that by allowing me to express myself. Usually got me in trouble. I ain't going to deny that. But she didn't suppress it. She allowed me to express and explore my own self as a young man.
That's right.
I had to reach a point where I accept that, you know what? I had to let myself heal. And I had to accept that if I wanted to cry, you know what? It's okay because I'm in this black Jeep tinted and nobody can see me anyhow. I won't be doing that in public. At least I don't think I would be. But when my grandmother, Aunt Rose, passed away, I remember I didn't know what to feel. And it wasn't until the day of the service and, everybody's there and, my uncles and the family and, and then they called me to go and read something. And I'm up there reading this thing. And I'm at a point where I realize like I'm feeling and it's okay to feel. As a man, it's okay to feel.
Right.
And
Yeah.
pain is a thing that
Yes.
we trying to run from. Like men don't feel pain, but that's a lie.
It's a lie.
Mm.
You know, let
It's a
a
big
woman
lie.
leave you to say, at least I got my rum. What if you don't drink? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can feel pain, and it's okay. So I'm glad you brought
So
that up
good.
in terms of raising young men and your son crying, sis, and how you let him cry. I've seen men fathers beat their sons to stop crying while
Yeah.
they're crying. I suppose if you feed a dog gunpowder later on in life, you got to kind of accept what you get. Mama,
Yeah.
give us your
Yeah.
thoughts on this thing. That's why I said explain femininity. It doesn't
Right.
mean the two X's, it means you have one, which means that
Yeah,
you're not
that's right.
supposed to
The
act
X
That's right.
like
chromosome
a
and
woman.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
supposed to empathize with a woman and use
Mm-hmm.
your
Yes.
logic to balance her. But go ahead
Right.
and tell us
Yes.
what your thoughts are on
Mm-hmm.
masculinity, both feminine and the masculine aspect of a man.
Right. You see, the thing of it is that it's the way we were. I'm going from a scientific point of view about the chromosomes that is in the bodies that creates both male and female. And what they're saying, because the women are more in the front more so than men, they carries the burden of looking after the female side, both male and female. So what I'm trying to say here is that because men, they grow up, when they came out, they're not brutal. When they're growing up, they're really not brutal. They learn. It's a learned behavior that created the men to become the type of person simply because they're not they're allowed to grow up not even as a woman or a man. They're allowed to grow up in their own environment where they feel they have to do things for themselves. They have to be by themselves. They have to act like somebody, act like if they have all these energies and this power to do what they want to do. And that is why you said, when you said that men show feelings by beating up of a woman, I would want to know where that feelings came from. That is a learned behavior
That's
because he
right.
should
Yes.
know if it's something he sees in his home or what the case may be. I find that is something that should happen because no man has the right. I always tell persons I've never seen, but I never know my father to beat me as a child. You understand? So I would always say I would never tolerate a man hitting me, nor I will never say to a woman, sit down and let him. I believe that we can talk the situation out. We can come to some conclusion and understanding what is happening. But I believe this is why mothers are so important to understand the rule, the parenting, to understand how to raise your child, especially the boys, in a way that they do not become brutal.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
that
I
is
Totally,
agree.
totally
that is
agree.
happening today. Even, we had
Mhm.
I think Aziza could say to this about a 12-year-old boy. I mean, this happened in, I think, overseas. But to see how he destroyed his mother's
No.
house
Oh,
just for,
yes.
I think it was still a cell phone.
Wow.
No, I mean,
Wow.
we look at it and we said just for a cell phone, but we don't know what was beside that. What was the
Yeah.
cause of it?
Issues.
How long was it going on? What caused that anger? You see, men love to be feeling that somebody can hug them too. Men love to know that you can put your hand and tell them straight, I love you, I care for you. Very few parents tell their children, especially the boy children, that. I remember
Serious.
doing a program here when I first came back from England. And here I did a show with some young people. And when I talk about love and care, children tell me, what? When my mom talked to me, she said, come here, boy, and shout, shout, shout. You understand? So sometimes when we see the children reacting this way, why? Boys need a lot of attention more so than girls. They love when you can tell them, I love you. They love when they can see it. You're taking it, man, let me you tidy up a little bit. They love when you can pay them some attention. But if that's not happening in the house, you will find that that young man will become brutal and he will feel this is the way he has to do because he is not getting the independence to do things. Some mothers want to do everything for their sons. Again, that's a wrong thing to do. You have to
Mama's
give them
mama's boy.
opportunity to develop.
Well, let me ask you a question here, and this might be a bit controversial,
Go ahead.
especially in 2022, where we as a people looking to rebuild our nation.
Mm-hmm.
What can mothers do now in terms of raising young men to be more manly, especially because this, won't. I mean, not too many people want to talk about this issue, but we still have an age where there's a lot of single parent homes, and
Mm-hmm.
mothers are raising children on their own. In some cases, between work and the other responsibilities, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe the TV is raising the child, maybe the social media is raising it,
That's
maybe it's
right.
TikTok. 'Cause I've seen a video once. I think it was on IG and one of those other things, where a young man, but it's well, the part of the video I got, let me put it that way, because I didn't see the whole thing, what started it, but the part I got where it was a young man, he ran and jump kicked his grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
then proceeded to beat up, and he might have been maybe 10 years old
Yeah.
at best. And to watch the grandmother try to struggle with this young boy, then two
Mm-hmm.
other younger siblings, or well, family members, it looked like, got involved, not to help Granny, but to assist him in beating up Granny to the point where pots were being thrown and stuff. And I'm thinking, wait, hold up. This cannot be real.
Mm.
What can we as a people do now in terms of families raising young men and women too
Yeah,
to create that
I
leadership,
interject here.
that manliness of protection and protecting
Mm.
the family? What can mothers do to avoid
Mm.
losing their sons down the road to some
Mm.
emotional drama or stress or something that didn't play out
Mm.
properly? What can they do?
Parenting has become a very challenging thing today. And all I could say is that as spiritual persons, we always have to revisit some of the ancient ways of dealing with things. A
Mhm.
village has to raise a child.
That's
And I
right.
believe that many single parents needs to find mentorship for their sons, good mentorship as well.
Mhm.
Not just to find somebody to bring into their homes and then that person is utilizing your son or your daughter whenever they enter there. But I believe that we do have principles in our ancient world that we can bring back to help raise our children. You
Mhm.
understand? So I believe that some fathers or some other men around the place can help with some of these single mothers that trying to raise their sons. You understand? I mean, I know that my husband, every young man, and even young ladies, they used to call, they would flock the house, and he always have a word to help them along and to talk to them and to let them know that this world is a better place for them when they can understand life. And believe you me, they need mentorship, a lot of it. And we cannot take the Caucasian or the European ways of mentoring our children.
Agreed.
That is why the education is failing our children, because they're not telling our children the truth. We
Say that
need to
again.
go
The
back to
education
some of
is
the
failing the
ancient ways
children.
of raising our children.
If
I
I
agree.
can,
Not
I
talking
agree.
about the ancient ways from enslavement either.
if I can, as a mother of a young child
Mm-hmm.
in the school system. Now I'm going to look at education and then otherwise.
Mm.
My son would have joined Beavers, and it was quite a shock to me that the Beaver leaders were female.
Wait, hold on a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. You said beavers?
Yes, before a boy becomes a scout, he must become a beaver.
A
So
Mm-hmm.
beaver.
that's the first. Yes,
Okay.
that's the first.
Oh, that's
That's the
frightening with me.
yes, that's the first. The first level,
That's
and it
already
was
scary. Yeah.
yes. And then when he's getting ready to be in scouts, we've had 2 years of lockdown, and he would have become a scout except for that. And the recent scout meeting, there were more female leaders than they were male. And the scouts, the Boy Scouts, worldwide, but in Barbados, I can't speak to the world, but in Barbados, there are hardly any male models. So, one of the questions we have to start asking ourselves, are we willing to trust our men to be leaders? Are we willing or ready to accept the male perspective of leadership, mentoring, and fathering? Is the lack of fathering within our nation, which has its, its genesis,
Mhm.
as we know, in
Yeah.
the ancestral trauma that we've gone through,
Mm-hmm.
is that lack of fathering now manifesting itself to the point where we can no longer ignore it? And the question is unrefutably yes. It is
Yes.
a
Yes.
serious issue
Wow.
within our society, that the lack of fathering, not necessarily within the individual home, but
Right.
within the nation,
Right. As a
is
whole.
as holistically, is
Mm-hmm.
causing such a problem that our boys are finding themselves not having an outlet and a image, a mirror image to stand as, this is what I want to attain. Within my home, there is a father,
Hmm.
but as a mother, I expect
Hmm.
that role to be fulfilled because I was fathered. I was
Mm-hmm.
not fathered with my father in the home. I saw my father on a weekend, but
Hmm.
his influence
Was still there.
was there. So, is the removal of the father from the child's life, whether that child sees him on a weekend,
Hmm.
spends 3 weeks and in the summer, whatever the arrangement is, if he is not in the home 24/7, is the lack of fathering within the home
Hmm.
an issue? Yes, it is. Are all males good fathers? No.
Hmm.
This is not what we're discussing. We're
Hmm.
discussing the fact that the lack of fathering
Right.
within
Right.
this nation has not been touched on to the point where the nation recognizes that it is a fundamental issue
Correct.
toward the mental and emotional well-being of
Mm-hmm.
our boys. They do not, as Empress said, they do not remain there. They do not remain 4 years old.
True.
When
True.
a boy reaches, as a mother of a young boy, I knew when he no longer needed me.
Mm.
He is it. He doesn't want me anymore. He doesn't even like me coming and give him kisses at night.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He no longer, one time, it was, mommy, come, I'm ready to go to bed. Come and give me my kisses. But now, oh, mommy,
I'm good. I'm
no,
good. I'm
no.
good. I'm good.
But he wants his father. He wants his father. This is the stage where he wants his father. Now imagine how many single mothers out there who may not have that relationship enough to have the male play a role in the child's life, and they do not have a source of fathering that they can turn to. So the men who are out there have also got to recognize that their level of responsibility that they must play to this society
Hmm.
is one that is so serious that they have to stop and analyze the path that they're taking.
Serious.
Because if the path that you as a man takes and the decisions that you make to either walk away or harm the life that you are supposed to be a part of,
Then yes.
we very well might see more men being abandoned in their
Mm-hmm.
old age. And that alone is a problem because we have it now of
Yes, that's
many
right.
men who are within the system who are being abandoned. I,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen innumerable TikToks. We have not gotten to such a disclosure within Barbados, but I've
Mm-hmm.
seen many TikToks of nurses in the US,
Hmm.
black nurses, who are talking to black men and telling them, you
Hmm.
need to stop. You need to stop bringing harm. You need to stop abandoning because you are now here being abandoned in your old age when you should be taken care of. But the lack of fathering towards our boys is harming our society. And as three women who are of different stages within the mentoring of boys within our society, Empress and Mama Thelma and myself, we are appealing to the men out there. Understand that your role is not a unlikely one. It's not a soft one. It's not an irrelevant one. It is necessary to the balance of society. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Empress.
Well. Before Empress jumps in, I know she. I see you there fidgeting in your seat. I know you want to jump right in. before you get
We
that,
all anxious.
yeah, let me just add to that, and I agree with you 100%, sis. You hit a lot of valid points. But as an
Yeah.
individual who was incarcerated myself, I can tell you two things that you may or may not know, and suspect you might know. Number one, majority of the men in prison are actually good men.
Yes, true
Believe
word.
it
Yeah.
or not, they're actually good men.
Mm-hmm.
And but the way this system is set up is such a thing that if you go to the QEH maternity section, there's a mural on that wall. And I've been voicing this from the time I came home.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when I left Barbados, I was too young. But as a man returning, and trust me, a man returned, when I saw that, I said, well, wait a minute. Why is there a picture on the side of the hospital, the maternity section, that has a woman
Holding
who's
it.
holding the hand of a child? There's one in her arm, and it appears as if she's also pregnant. And I'm thinking, well, wait,
Where's a
and I'm
man?
looking, and it's a silhouette. So, a black silhouette, talk about
Mm-hmm.
imagery.
Mm.
I'm looking to see where's the father in this
Mm-hmm.
image? Where's the image of family? Where's that image that says, hey, look, man, we understand that we not just dealing with what we call, like you said, men failing, because a lot of homes are manless, a lot of men are homeless. And there's
That's
a
right.
reason for that. And we mustn't act as if, let me pull that picture up really quick. We mustn't act as if we don't know why, because the
Mm-hmm.
system we're in makes it very difficult for
Mm-hmm.
black men who are, and mama, forgive me for this one, man, but who straight to get a break, because it's not designed for you. It's designed for individuals who they know that they can kind of, tweak. I hate to use
Mhm.
that word, but it's a reality.
I understand.
Whether we like it or don't like it, it is the reality. I want to put a picture up here really quick, sister Aziz. I want you to even speak on it too, because you talk about the male role in the family, whether he's physically in the house or in the life of the child. I totally love how you approach that, because it doesn't have to be in the household, because we know that black men and black women, they too got a lot of healing to do. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the only times they really get along is in the bed. Outside of the bed is be a lot of bickering.
That's
But if it's one time that they see eye to eye, no pun intended, is right then when
mm-hmm.
things are kind of passionate. But I said it to
Mm-hmm.
say, I want to share this really quick. It's important that we recognize our healing and helping each other is going forward, like Mama said earlier, saying Kofi, we're looking back to see where we came from, but more
Mm-hmm.
importantly, our children who are watching us, watching everything we do, watching what we're not doing, they're the future. And if men are being abandoned today because of this, what happens the day after with the mothers? Because if you think about it, the system has always been trying to take the children from us.
Mm-hmm.
And once
Mhm.
you break the family up, you break the village up. Once you
Mm-hmm.
break the village up, you break that nation up.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is very important. And I want Sister Aziza to come in and touch on this briefly regarding that same
Mhm.
family, that same role of man, rather, let me put it that way,
Mhm.
man and woman, because that seems to be a little bit
Mhm.
nowadays in our society. But it's very clear with our culture as African people, as we now see ourselves. Tell us what you think about that, Sister Aziza.
Let me say this. As a teacher, I've seen all too often um, children acting out in violence, young children, and it starts from young.
Mm,
I've had cases where this young man, every day, he would fight or pinch or just reach out and he targeted one little girl. And I noticed that every day his mom dropped him off. It was always the mom. I'd never met the dad. And this was going on a year. Never met the dad. So when we had the teacher conference with the parents, I said to her, I want to see dad more. Because as teachers, we are everything to these children. We spend more time with them than their families do. And I said, I want to see that. So one afternoon, just out of the blue, little Jack was sitting down doing his little puzzle, and the dad came. And that little boy, I am sure, levitated off of the ground when he saw his dad.
mm,
He flew into his arms, and then I saw the dad teared up. He was crying. He
wow,
broke down. He sat
wow,
on the floor and he was crying to
wow,
see how this little boy responded.
wow.
And me, the person I am, I went there and I hugged him and I thanked him for coming. And every day after that, he would come. and pick up his child. Now that little boy has excelled beyond what everybody thought he would have been. Like I
Wow.
said, we've seen it too often, where the mother has to be everything. And she is everything. She is everything to that child. But at some point, dad has to step in. Mom has to step back, pull back. And pulling back doesn't mean weakness. Pulling back just means you know what time it is. You know you have to give this man leeway to become dot, 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 whatever that dot, dot means. So
Right.
looking at that picture, you got the man elevated. If you look at it really, symbolism is everything. They're showing you the father is a stature in the house. He is a giant. He is the king. But father is also protecting mother.
Right.
This is, if you want to look at it, the Lion King emotion. He is protecting mother. He's not leaving her behind,
Right.
but she is also behind him, elevating him and supporting him as the king of the house. And he is elevating his son. This is my progeny. This is where we are going, because this is a blending of the father and the mother arc. Father is spirit, mother is soul. So this is the blending of the two. He is showing the world, this is the generation. This is the next generation. I am pouring everything from me into him. This is who's going to carry on our name. And when our people begin to see themselves like that, because right now we don't, we see ourselves as slaves. We see ourselves as nothing. So when we begin to see ourselves in a different light, then we will step in and do what we're supposed to be doing. As women, we have to get to know self. We have to connect with self spiritually, because this is what this is. We're not just coming here to do this because we want to talk a shop. This is all divine guided. This is all mother guided. Yeah,
Nice.
and father guided. This is the
Nice.
blending of the father and the mother principle. Mother has returned to bring her sons and daughters back into the fold. We are royalty, and we must act that way.
That's right.
We don't just walk around with a pretty title. To hell with the titles. We must step into our purpose as the mothers and fathers of civilization and regroup. That's what we must do to heal. And
Certainly.
that's only when our children, our sons, and our daughters would recognize that they too are royalty. And when you know you're royalty, you behave like royalty.
Different.
That's what
Brother
that
Bill.
picture symbolizes. Father spirit, mother soul. The blending of the two.
Yeah, right.
Right?
I would like to
So
ask my brother a question. I'm
Sure.
interjecting here because the patience of memories. How do you see as a man? How do you see the future for male in this in this in this what we say season that we're living in? How do you, as a man, see yourself? See other men picking up the banner, carrying on a family life. Because without men, the production of female, we can't bring children into the world, not we, but young people can't do it anymore. The connection is there. The two makes one.
Right.
The two makes one. So, what I note, I mean, the pathologies of what goes on with our men, and most of them across the world, is either in the prison system or some sort of ailments that they're going through. And so that's why it's said about men becoming outside of the remit where feelings are not there anymore. You understand?
Well,
Because men, we're not looking at the conditions of what's happening to men. Why are we at this point looking at it? It's not because we just come up with it. It's the spirit just downloading us and says,
right.
listen,
That's right.
there's somebody have to speak out on these things. They're saying the churches don't do nothing, the persons don't, but mothers is the one that has to go back to the pain they felt bringing in a child in the world, both male, female, the things that they do, the pains they feel when something happened to the child. You look at what women does when something happens, say the first part they hold is their belly, where the womb is.
True. True.
And that is why the womb is so significant. And
True.
the womb, understanding the womb, if a woman can get the womb healed, the world and her family will be healed. Study the issues about the womb, and then you'll find out how sacred it is. And because
Indeed.
it's been
Indeed.
abused, because some women let out adulterated men goes there, men that has no right to be there. You understand? The women get abused, and the first thing, anytime they suffer with any ailment, the first thing they want to tell them, hysterectomy, get rid of it. Why? Because you're no longer a production bearer. The
Well,
man is needed.
well,
The battle is not only about sons, it's
that's
about
right.
sons to boys, to boys to men, to fathers, from husbands to fathers. Those are the rescue team that is out here now from the spirit realm.
Yeah, well, I personally have to agree with you. When you say, let me ask you a question, you get that feeling when you're in class and teachers up front, and you right there thinking some other stuff, and they call you, it's like, oh, wait a minute, where I might, But I'll say this, man. I put this up here earlier. There's a book I want to encourage people, if they haven't have a
I have
copy or they
it.
never heard of it. It's a
Of
good
Water
book to
and the
get.
Spirit.
It's
Right.
called Of Water and the Spirit. You know,
That's powerful.
Yeah, I
yeah,
have it.
I'm going to recommend that. Maladoma, Patrice, so me.
Yeah, I
Interesting,
have those
interesting
books.
book. But to answer your
Yeah.
question, like I said, I agree with everything that was said tonight. I totally agree that we have to work together, even if we are in the house, even more so. I mean, we are out, even equally more so, but not walk away. And someone put a comment about a lot of men are trying, but sometimes the mothers use the children as a way to get back at the men, get back at the fathers. And that's a whole different conversation by itself. But what I will say is this: looking at 2022 and using the block culture or the prison culture, a lot of young men make unwise decisions and find themselves in a position where, because the system is set up in such a way that they incarcerate all young men. This goes back to slavery, because
Yeah.
if you couldn't break him, if he wasn't one to be broken, to become more, how should I say, gentle man as opposed to firm man, he had the potential to be a warrior. So they wanted the gentleman more so than anything else. It was in their mind, they were more comfortable with the broken one. In 2022 going forward, we still have a lot of young men who have that original African fighting spirit, that manly spirit, that dominant, firm spirit. The thing right now is to help teach knowledge of self. Knowledge of self right now is probably the most greatest wealth we have as a people, is
That's right.
knowing who we are, especially with relation to the Most High. Having that knowledge, you don't got to, nobody has to tell you as a man what you need to do.
That's right.
It's an automatic download. And although we might have started out to be the absolute worst in the relationship, maybe the worst fathers originally, a lot of men are making an effort to step up and keep stepping up. Like you said, the opportunities have to be given by the mothers as well. So is that two-way system that has to work again in terms of raising our young men, our young women, so we can have that productive family structure in terms of rebuilding our nation. Because
Yes,
once that is broken, once that is no longer there, then in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what do we have? The reality is there's some conversations we need to have as a people. If we want to have a stake in the future, we have to be talking about how can we empower our children, because after all, our children is the future. So we're talking about the future of a nation, and we're not discussing what's best for the children, not what was best for mommy or what's best for daddy, but what can we do together to make sure that they have a better opportunity at raising their own children, their own offspring, I should really say instead. Because a lot of things we adopt in terms of words and ideas, like the sister said earlier, the European, and I even hate to say that word European, because even deeper than European, it's an enemy that's against the children of the Most High. And unless we be clear on this, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and I tired
No,
telling people that,
2 words.
we at the stage where we got to be clear and be definite about where we are and what we're doing. Because if we fail to do that, then where are we really going? The children right now are into technology. They don't want to hear nothing about no school unless school. I mean, school is failing the children. That's a fact. And the
Yeah.
ones who might be excelling, they have circumstances that might be promoting that. Like maybe there's a plan or there's lessons or there's other things, there's better family structure, better opportunities, different. Whereas the young people that might be trapped in a certain community that's plagued with community problems that are not being addressed, including the absentee fathers from the homes. And in some cases, believe it or not, the absentee mother because she's at work, 2 jobs because the father not there. All these things are things we got to look at. But like the sister said it, we got to work it as a holistic approach to helping each other. And the fundamental thing is healing.
Amen.
I got to start with self. It's okay for me to sit here and say, well, that over there is the problem and over here is the problem. But I got to stop and look at me, the man in the mirror. I think Michael Jackson said it best. Look in the mirror and ask myself, what am I doing to bring about this change that I'm talking about? That self-introspection, that self-reflection, that self-manifestation in the reality we're living in is what I feel personally would make the biggest difference and impact one man and woman at a time. And that's my 2 cents, man.
That was very, 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 very good because, as I said, we cannot afford it. Something has to be done. This conversation has to get through to both parents, male and female. And, because some of the encouragement is, I believe, that women can take a stand in addressing some of the real pathologies that they see is happening to men. If you have your sons and you see them walking with their trousers below their waist and throwing out there, why can't you just tell them dress properly? You understand? I mean, there's so many things that is breaking down the culture and making us look so lewd and stupid. It makes you feel, well, what is going on? What is wrong with being Black? That's the question. What is wrong?
Serious.
Are we cursed or something like that we still cannot? I'm not saying the races, but I don't bother about other races. I bother about our own. What is wrong with our people that we cannot? The problem is that sometimes we go back to some of the things that happened during the enslavement that I wondered sometimes if the conflicts that is happening in family, if we're not related, blood related.
Serious.
Especially in a small island like this.
Serious. Well, before you go, I want you all somebody to elaborate on this event again coming up on Saturday. Tell us a little bit about this.
Okay. Mothers Losing Sons, a Conversation is a panel discussion that is more like what we're doing here tonight, but in person. And we want, Empress will go further into it. We want people to come out and let's have a face-to-face. Let's start working on our society. Let's start building our community. Let's heal.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about this here, Aziza. Go ahead.
All right. Again, this was conceptualized coming out of August 13th, when the Divine Mother said, "Bring her daughters together," and we listened. And after having that conversation with the women on that day, Zion's daughter and I, we sat down and we looked at this and we said, well, Mama Thelma says, you guys can't just leave that there. You open the door now. You have to do something about it. So we sat down, we came up with this idea. We have to reach the mothers. As mothers of the universe, not just, we're mothers of the civilizations. We started all of this. It started with us. And as women, since we're in the womb of God, we talk about the mind. The mind is the womb. This is our holy chamber, right? We're in the womb of God. And for us to heal, for us to reach our sons and our men, as women, we have to stand together to help push them, to stand with them. And the only way we can do that is if we begin to heal. And that's where community comes in. It takes a village. We have to get back to that. Sankofa. We have to get back to that. What matters most? Our families matters most. We're in a different time. We're in fifth dimension energy. We're moving away from all of that. I am not going to do this. I don't want to get involved. This is the time we get involved. Right now, everything is wide open. So we have to step into that space and begin the healing of our families so that we can return to source, whole. That's the blending of the Heragamos. We returning whole. And that's why this discussion is going to be so important. It doesn't just end here. This is just the beginning as sacred warrior women. Look, mothers, look at the word warrior. We must become warriors. We right now are like lambs. We must become warriors. There's pictures coming up called the Woman King. We got a woman king. We got all of this stuff happening. We got the Black Panther who's gonna be is transformed into a woman. They're telling you the mother energy is pushing us. Barbados is key to all that's going to happen, and it has to start with the mothers. It has to
Wonderful,
start with
wonderful,
us.
wonderful. Sacred Sister Soul. I see you have the Vesica Pisces there in the middle, as quiet as kept. Um, you're right to laugh. That's going to go over a lot of
That
people,
is
though.
the
That's going to go over a
that
lot of
is
people.
the mother arc and the father arc,
That's what I'm
right?
saying, though.
That's
As
the
simple as
blending
it
of the
is,
two.
I noticed it right there in the corner. I'm just saying that it's important that we create the balance. That's why we always say Rastafari, Haile Selassie first, Empress Men in
Yeah.
one perfect balance.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be balance, family. And I always tell
It
people,
has to be.
the Battle of Adwa, the Battle of Adwa, we did it already. We can do this
Yes,
again. We fought as a family. There's no
exactly.
feminist this or masculine this. Is It's a family. It's a balance. It's the power of
Mhm.
the Trinity, man, woman, and child.
Yeah.
We're here to preserve
Let me
our
say this,
children.
Emmanuel.
So go ahead,
We
sis.
always talk about Princess Rosera Menin and Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie was the face. He was the one out there doing the work. But you had her in the background. She was the one advising him. She didn't need to be out front because she was securing who she is. She was not just wife, she was mother and she was woman. But she
Indeed.
supported him. He went to her for the advice and she supported him. You see what I'm
That's why.
saying? So
That's why
that's
he
the
changed.
role.
That's why he changed tradition, and she had to be crowned the same day.
The same with Marcus Garvey.
Same day. Same day.
Word, word.
Crowned the same day. Not
Mm,
days later.
That's right.
So you crown me
King and
today.
queen come the same time.
You gotta
mm.
crown the empress the same time, and now play that.
Now, right then.
That's
Listen, before
right.
we
That's
speak,
right.
I want
And
y'all to
women
share
need
some
to
final.
know that they're that.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed, and that's the
And
power. That's the
Emmanuel,
power that
and
man needs. That support from a woman. I know people always think, "Well, white women, I gotta support man." It's a balance, man. It's a
it's about,
It's a
balance.
and if
balance.
I and if I can say this
Yeah, go
here,
ahead, sis.
our byline is a mother's cry is a call to the nation to listen. The most
Rastafari, right?
powerful, the most powerful position in a society is a mother.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
A
Indeed.
mother,
Woo.
a mother is the one who is either raising the future leader of a nation
Mm-hmm.
or a predator. This is a fact.
Mm.
And any
Coming
mother
from the
who
same
cries
womb.
out, there is no society that hears a mother's cries and ignores
Mm-hmm.
it. And these three mothers are crying out to Barbados and
Mm-hmm.
saying, hear our cry to save our sons.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Listen, sis, this is mighty. I can see we're gonna have to do a part two to this. I could already tell that this conversation wasn't sufficient at all. But
Mm-mm.
tell us where folks can reach y'all, where can get in touch with y'all. If folks are interested in being part of your group, tell us where this could happen. Give us some information.
The WhatsApp chat.
Empress can
Wonderful.
take this.
Oh. I like that. Let me get the flyer up. You can contact us on WhatsApp. You can contact Aziza Sacred Wellspring, or you can call me 824-7449. The information is also on the flyer. You can come out on Saturday morning, 9:30 to 11:30, and be a part of the discussion and be a part of something wonderful, a movement that is going to happen. Let me correct that. It's already happening because it's already in the ether.
That's
So
right.
you can come out and join us and be a part of something special
At
and
number
change the
9,
world.
give the address.
Number nine,
We'll be at
number nine, Ninth Avenue, the
it's
Ninth
the
Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
ninth.
number nine.
Oh, look at that!
How did
Nine
you
is
manage?
18. We're back to 9.
How did you
Number
manage to pull
9.
that? How did you manage to pull that one off? The ninth location, Ninth Avenue, building number 9. How did you pull that one off, man?
All right. Let's
And
do it
listen,
again.
and Saturday the 17th is Q, and it's also number 9.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, this is at 9:30 in the morning, to
Yeah.
11:30, family. So mothers losing son. It's a conversation they're having. Sacred Warrior Mothers presents this event. So listen, tell a friend to tell a friend. This where you're going to be. And you know what? It's a connecting thing. And there's a lot of mothers who are having challenges with their children. I get calls all the time. We have young ladies we've been working with that were having issues with the government industrial school. We know the
Yeah.
story. A lot of mothers are crying out. And like your sister just said, the cries of the mother is a cry to the nation. And as
Mhm.
men,
Yes.
we hear these cries, it's time to step up. Full stop.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel, for having us.
Well,
Thank
but before
you.
y'all go, Mama, I want to give you the closing word for us. As a matter of fact, I even go a step further and ask you to say a prayer for us
Mhm.
and guide us through this particular ceremony.
Yes, because you see, the point of it is that we have lost our spiritual contact, and because of that, we find ourselves
Mhm.
wondering what is wrong with our race, whether or not we're cursed or we're cush. So I just want to say that there are divine principles that is operating to save the men,
That's
and the
right.
time is coming where women has to put their foot in the water to bring the men back out into fruition. They brought them through the womb, and so they have to let the womb speak good words over their lives. So we know that we're on a thing that will help mothers to really and truly help the men in their lives, their fathers, their brothers, their uncles, all men. So we know that divine, we can place it in the divine hands, and whatever this organization, this brother is trying to do, forget the past, look to the future,
That's
because
right.
good things is on the way for our people to rise up.
That's
As
right.
Marcus Garvey would say, rise up, because this is the time for us now. We can't look back, we have to look forward.
Forward.
So
Give
that is my
thanks.
word for the evening.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Thank you.
Blessed
Good.
love.
Thanks.
Blessed love. Blessed
Bless
love.
the Lord.
Yeah, definitely want to thank you all for coming through without question. It's been my honor
Mhm.
personally to have, like I said, not even one, not two, but three, the power of the Trinity. I give thanks.
Mm.
Remember,
Thank
we're gonna
you.
do have to do a part two of this thing. You got to come back and tell us how the event went and what's next. Because, like you said, it's a conversation, but it's just the start. Because it
It's
has to
That's
be a
right.
continuation. Because it's a healing process. I want to thank you all, and as always,
Thank
politically
you.
incorrect family said nothing but kinetic energy and love
Mhm.
towards these sisters, and more success with you with your endeavors going forward. Bless and love,
Thank
family.
you.
Thank you
Great.
very much, and good luck with your
Thank you.
programs.
Thank you
Thank
too,
you
We're
Mom.
very
in
much
I
for
mean,
having
Mama,
me
you're
here.
Chicago
easy.
because,
Zion's
as I
daughter.
said,
Yes,
my
thank you
role
all.
is
Thank you.
to
You're
educate
welcome.
my young people about themselves and the
Give thanks.
purpose why they in this environment, in this world that they're living in.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
that's
so
what
very
I
much.
used to
Blessed
continue
love,
doing.
family. Blessed
Yeah.
love.
Blessings.
Yes, family. Oh man, we give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. I. What more can we say, family? What more can we say? Um, the balance is necessary. There's no way around it. And whether you're aware of it or not, whether you subscribe or not, the point is, this has already happened. We are just simply walking into this divine destiny. It's a fact. Man doesn't feel threatened by women stepping up. Man is reassured by women stepping up. I give thanks to those sisters that came through and shared their energy. Mama, she an easy boy. She touched that topic there. I don't. Woo-wee. All right, all right. Well, I had a few comments on the side, a whole host of comments. I give thanks for those writing up. True but protection should be used in unstable and or fresh relationships. When it comes to relationships as a people, there's so much we got to unlearn and relearn. We watch too much rap city videos, way too many videos, and for the most part, most videos do not promote relationship. It promotes pimping and violence. That's the reality. Let's call a spade a spade, and use it pimping towards your own women and violence towards your own brother, and that's just facts. So we gonna call a spade a spade. But anyhow, family, there's some. I saw Isis wanted to talk to some. Man, I want to say a word to these warriors, mothers, and all right. So look, we got to do a little call in something. We got to do a call in something. So we'll bring them back on, and maybe we could do like a call in pro. Well, not really a call in pro. Well, call in program. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to, but I'll put the link up, and we can get things going. In the meantime, I go and deal with some personal affairs. Yo, family, give thanks, man. I got a tune here. Another tune. It's only right I play this tune. Yes, Sizzler.
Black international reports race, you know.
Powerful mother goddess. I see you. Real thing, man.
Black woman inside, you know. What do you say? Check it.
I see you, Miss Critchlow. Take care of your family too. I know you're on that work. Give thanks and praise.
Let me see the lighters. Don't tell them that.
Yes, my brother. I see the brother right here. We got to interview this brother as well. Heavy brother. Yes. Got so much love, man. Dollar bills, man. Black woman and child, Sizzler family. Y'all already know. Yes. Give thanks, family.
You're the first to give birth unto mankind.
The first to give birth to mankind. Yes, 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 yes. We gonna close out tonight how we started tonight, man, with this sistering right here. These three sistering. Y'all already know. Queen Omega featuring Kushite and Jalifa is a must. These sisters right here is pure energy. Energy can done. Give a listen, family. Give a listen, man. One love, family.
Queen Omega and Kushite Jalifa, they know the future is bright. No surrender, no retreat. We are Jaja soldier.
Yes.
Rougher than the streets, tougher than the border. Burn out all disease.
Give thanks and praise, family.
No, we not retreat. We are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than
Empress, you know who you be. Give thanks and praise always, man.
Sweet and green like trees in a pot. Cast of the tree and the root them come on. Cast of the children from spreading jazz up when the lioness roll up out for your side. Give thanks and praises for the God that renders even.
Yes.
Where two or more are gathered in His name, I tell you He is there. And I want you to have no
Queen Jalifa.
Unity we set by example cause we can.
Queen Omega. Kushite. Full respect and manners for this tune right here, sis. Energy family.
No surrender, no retreat.
No surrender, no retreat.
Rougher than the streets, tougher than a border.
I gotta shout out to the family though. Give thanks, man. Give thanks, man. Give thanks, man.
Surrender, no retreat. We are Jaja soldier.
She is my rock and my strength.
Burn out all disease, we burn out corona. Burning out our bombs. Jalifa, Kushite, Queen Omega. Fire can extinguish. Three empresses so divine and distinguished.
That's right.
If you know royal in your
Jackie, this one for you, Jackie. Ice the same way, man. Andre, y'all know who it is, man. All the sisters that stay focused, man, and be putting that work. Andrea, you too, you know how it is, man. Jade, Jacqueline, all the Andreas, really, man. All the sisters, man. All the sisters, man. Big up yourself, man.
Fusing fire, left them looking for grabber. Them can't overs how they love you not partial. And when we come together, yes, it's always good vibes.
Always good vibes, man.
It's a positive frequency. Negativity. And burn animosity. Burn the war and crime.
Ban war, crime, and poverty, family. Ban war, crime, and poverty, family. We're done with that, family. But don't think we ain't gonna defend the nation, though. Don't get tired with it. Militancy. Melissa, Rastafari sister, and I hope you're watching. If not now, later. More strength, more power to you and the family, sis. Upfulness and joyfulness, right? One family, Rastafari, live, reign, and rule continually, family. Three white screens, if you know what I mean. Cha, give thanks for that one there, family. A rough to all. Anyhow, family, we out of here, man. Give thanks to those who came through and supported the platform tonight. Y'all already know Haile Selassie I, Empress Reserve Menin, is the perfect balance, man. Give thanks and praise, man. Y'all, we got work to do here. Let me just do the work, man. And this song is, I gonna let this one play out, man. But this for all these sisters, man. All these sisters, man. All. Remember, man. Family first, here.
I regular me see you give them anytime me see them ask. I let them do your that for. Same type of people let them liable to kill your fast. I let them sell your heart for. But baby your vegan you say motivate me to have.
That's right.
And them don't really know why me love you so. Why me love you so.
I can tell you why we love you so. This for you, sis. This for you, sis. I ain't gonna tell you who you be. You already know, man. Don't mind they try to beat you down, man. There's a strong woman. When they try to put you down, chat you with them tongue.
Hold on, this thing is not only about the sex alone.
Admire you, sis. Admire you, man. Raise them youths, man. Stallone. Can survive off for breakfast alone. You wanna know about that there, man? Big up to all these sisters, man. Making it happen here.
And them don't really know why me love you so, why me love you so. Because
John Dunn. Maximum salute, my brother. The architect is back. Woo-wee. That's right. Stay strong, family. Stay strong, man. Don't mind them, family. Stay strong, sister.
Love how you respect for yourself and respect your family.
That's right.
My baby, a new bill, tantalizing. Straight love when me looking at your eyes.
Y'all be blessed, man. See y'all Friday night. Upfulness and joyfulness. Stay strong, sister. Man, support the women, man.